come up that I remember from previous, Yumi-dominated metas. Mordekaiser. I love Mordekaiser as a counter to this champion because you ult the person that has her, she pops off, and then the rest of the team immediately, you don't see it on screen, but Daniel here is actually throwing punches. He's like, oh, Yumi's popped off, boom, 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 yeah, beat her up, yeah. And then you hit her with a CC.
I don't want to go too far down this rabbit hole because Yumi's already banned, but what I will say is, Mordekaiser top, Poppy support. You pop the Yumi off, you put the Poppy right on top of the popped off Yumi, you push W, and where's she gonna go, Kobe?
You just want to say pop a bunch while you're casting. Classic play-by-play caster. The counter is the thing that will make me sound the coolest. Twisted Fate coming in here, though, for Jensen, for Team Liquid. They actually, throughout the season, utilized globals very effectively. It wasn't the hallmark of this team. But it was one of the strategies that they successfully utilized during the regular season and then kind of filed away for later. So while it wasn't at the forefront of some of Jensen's big picks, I do like that option there. They don't end up locking it in, and so it's kind of irrelevant now, but is something that they kind of tucked away for later. This team, for my perspective, is a lot more flexible than most people give credit to Team Liquid for being. CoreJJ, yes, he does have an overarching view of the game and controls a lot of it and likes to be risk averse, but there are definitely a lot of different options that they like to go for with where they put their resources and their roams.
And Leona doesn't really commit you to anything. It's got a lot of kill pressure, can do a lot of work in the bottom lane, can also roam and put that kill pressure in someone else's hands. Jensen opting for the TF here up against the LeBlanc. You do have reliable point-and-click CC, very crucial. There you go.
And more importantly, point saved. The Twisted Fate comes in. I get half foresight here, where we get to predict these as well.
Yeah.
It's a side effect.
You're doing good.
But it's also a good pick into LeBlanc. So as soon as they see the LeBlanc, then it actually just makes more sense. So they don't blind pick the Twisted Fate. They wait for Icon locking in the LeBlanc. Then you can pick it into the LeBlanc. Gold card shutdown. It's been discussed ad nauseum throughout the length of this tournament, but also being able to affect those sidelines. Tactical had an amazing Ezreal game. Previously in their victory already. It's always been one of his comfort champions. Plus, as discussed last time around when it had this set up for them, allows CoreJJ to roam on Leona. You can go for kills, you can go for setup there with Twisted Fate down to the bottom side. Guess what? That doesn't mean that you're just spending all your resources down there. It unlocks CoreJJ to pay it forward. He can then pay those ganks forward, unlock the top side of the map, and actually go to Alphari. So lots of opportunities for CoreJJ to get unlocked in this game, and that's going to be big for them. Meanwhile, for LNG, though, that Aphelios thresh on the bottom side, very big for Light and Iwandi, of course, and should be some early pushing from them. We'll keep track of if either of them has Duleash, but I would say neither of them will want to at all in order to gain that priority, and is going to focus now on the junglers. Olaf taken away. Is not just a blabber pick for NA. Santorin also racking up quite a few of those wins. Lee Sin is already off the board, so you get down to your Trundles and your Xin Zhao's coming up quickly here too.
Certainly do. For now, the Jace also going to be banned away. I guess trying to adjust, trying to pivot, trying to limit maybe some of the blind picks. If the pool is open and there's only 1 or 2 champions left available that they really want to play, could always 4-pick top lane on red side, but I do still expect to see it be the 5th pick.
Yeah.
Are they going to ban away another jungler here, further limiting Santorin's effective champion pool? I wouldn't be surprised to see a Xin. Ooh, Kennen. I like it.
Okay, taking away Kennen here. The Jace was already banned, so Jace is one of the biggest picks that people like to pick into Kennen for the counter there. So when Team Liquid banned Jace, that's what pulls up the Kennen pick. Maybe previously they were throwing around some more possible junglers, but if Jace is banned out as your answer to it, then taking that one away, because as you postulated, pretty sure that it's going to be 4th round pick here for jungle for LNG first, and they wait to see the full reveal of all cards in your hand from Team Liquid and finally try and counter the top side pick. So, plenty of junglers still available here. You like to have a dash when you're playing into a team that has Leona and Twisted Fate already, because there's going to be a lot of map movement. Yes, you do have a Thresh already on your team, but Lantern can only save you so many times, and nice to have some mobility for yourself there too. So Viego has been proven still viable even after the nerfs, and does have a decent amount of mobility there too, though Twisted Fate's ultimate will reveal him.
And I certainly love Viego when you have a champion like LeBlanc to pair with it, a lot of upfront burst to potentially get those resets off the passive. That said, we'll see what the focus is going to be. Really curious about both jungle and top lane in this case, the last 2 picks remaining for TL. We are going to see the Talon locked in. What is going to be Alphari's blind pick? He picks the Camille. He is setting up for the Ale Jax. We saw versus Hanwha Life Esports in plans. Ale, if he gets enough time to scale on that Jax, will guaranteedly take over a game. But we also saw yesterday that Alphari and TL may not give him enough time. Instead, today it is going to be the Gnar, however. Definitely a bit of a high-stakes champion to get later against some of these highly mobile top laners, but it could be the Viego top.
This is shaping up to be a little difficult looking for Team Liquid, for my money, actually. So I think it's a good manipulation here of LNG on the red side to be able to force through with this. They get Ale, his Fiora, into the Gnar pick. It's looking fairly difficult. It is definitely sustainable for Team Liquid, especially if Jensen's able to actually control mid. Maybe an early pass just from, you know, a damaged pass through gank from Santorin. You know, maybe gold card into Talon combination can get them some breathing room mid and open up Jensen to use his Twist of Fate ultimate to keep Ale in check, or try and get Tactical fed, because they are definitely going to need that. Tactical will have to do some good carrying in this game. He's going to have to put on his high DPS pants with this Ezreal, like that he did the Trinity Force Ezreal last time around. Don't do Divine Thunder this time. You're going to need to have some good power for these team fights, because LNG are certainly going to be bringing